All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the 2026 King of the Hammers little videos that we've been doing. You know, we did some stuff early on, kind of told you guys about the car and the history, and then, you know, brought you into the prep zone. And now it's just kind of a recap of the race. A few of you have been asking. I'm going to just go through it. Obviously, we had been at the lake bed. I left here Thursday morning, the 28th of January, headed to Chula Vista, California, to Dunhoon to have the motor tuned. We talked about that a little bit. That guy is phenomenal. I've been to 4 or 5 tune shops since I've had this motor rebuilt, and never left satisfied, or when I say satisfied, I don't think it was ever as good as it is now. Dunhoon kept pushing me away. I kept telling him it was okay, it was good enough, and he just kept grinding it out. So big thanks to Dunhoon. If you guys need anything tuned, especially you Southern California guys, check out Dunhoon. He's on Instagram at Dunhoon. Lance Loader is his name. The guy is an absolute genius. He would not stop. Just dialed this thing in. It's never ran so good. Stoked to have him on board and to be able to call him a friend at this point. And check him out. Anyways, back to leading up to KOH after we talked last, or after we filmed last. Got the prep done, of course, always kind of last minute. Nickel dime things finishing up. Got loaded up that Wednesday night, kind of late, had to leave at 4 in the morning to head to California to get the car tuned. Spent 8.5 hours or so down in Chula Vista, tuning the car, getting the car dialed in, which is really cool because one thing I've never done is rebuilt the car, prep the car, take it to the dyno, and you get to put a lot of miles on it at the dyno. So you're breaking in gears, and you know, you're going through all the things, all the fluid things that you normally go through. We're doing it in a controlled environment in a shop. It was pretty cool. So that definitely put it on your list as a racer, that stuff is way easier to do in a controlled environment than it was for me out at the lake bed. So leading into that, getting to the lake bed, I got there late that night, 10:30, had a super long day, obviously. Woke up Friday, set up camp, got into, you know, tools and all the stuff into our party tent, and then just started pre-running. Had a great week out there, kind of with the new rear hydraulic bump stops that we put on the car. Went out shock testing. I had to learn how to redrive this car. I never imagined in my life that putting a hydraulic bump on the back of this car, I couldn't put them on the front, I just don't have the room for packaging. I guess you could, but it would be a lot of work. Would increase the speeds, the handling, the cornering that they did. It is unbelievable difference, and I'm a fool for not putting it on a long time ago. Technically, I read the rules as they're illegal. However, everybody in our class has them. So therefore, if you can't beat them, join them kind of scenario. So we have them, and as you saw, we qualified first in our class, 9th overall over 120 something cars that qualified that day. And really that's between the tune and the air bumps really just elevated this car's performance in a manner that makes it very comfortable to drive. So when you're out there doing things at speeds that may be a little bit dumb, it's just easy.
And right now, Shad Kennedy would love to be on top of the box. And this is a very good looking time. I don't know if he's got enough. I think he lost a little bit coming down that hill, but this is going to be very close indeed. Brian Tremp sitting on a 2:15 right now, as we watch Shad Kennedy making his way around to the Griffin start-finish line.
I think he's got it, Jim. I think he's got it. He's going to come through there.
Oh, and Shad Kennedy, he crosses the line in a 2:15, 5:66. Brian Tremp with a 2:15, 6:50. Literally less than a tenth of a second.
So we get through qualifying. We were super stoked. We kind of hung out down in Hammertown. The car was down in the Baja Designs booth. Gotta love those guys for their support. They have supported our cars for the last couple of years, and stoked to have them on board. And it was pretty cool to get a phone call from them and asking them to put the #1 qualifying 4500 car down in their booth for the day. So we just hung out down in Hammertown the rest of the afternoon Tuesday, and kind of just got a lot of times we're so busy we don't get to experience as a race team what the general public gets to experience, hanging out, watching the Jumbotron, listening to the announcers and people watching, whatever it is. Dang Brothers Pizza, had a bunch of those, that was amazing. But getting to experience that on Tuesday was really cool. Up until Power Hour, we had stayed in the top, I think, 7th-ish. So I expected in Power Hour that we would be ran way down, maybe staying in the top 20. It was our goal, or my personal goal. And the last guy qualified, and we were still 9th overall. So it was a little bit of a celebratory moment for us, and team all high-fived and maybe had an adult beverage or two. And then it was just back to work, right? Got the car back to the tent. Didn't have a lot of things to do with it. We had broken a throttle cable. My car has a intake that is run backwards. So basically it's just swapped, right? Instead of the intake being in the front like every vehicle in the world, my intake is in the back. People ask why. Well, the reason why it is so that I could run my air cleaner system inside the cab of the car. The motor doesn't know it. It doesn't perform any difference, but the biggest downfall of it is my throttle cable. And I know people are like, oh, it's 2026. What are you doing with a throttle cable? Running a fly-by-wire would be great. I still run an old MEFI 4 system, which is an old GM boat computer. And it doesn't support that. So we're still running a throttle cable. I've got to run the cable basically from the cowl of the car across the front of the motor, underneath and back into the car to the throttle pedal. So when I broke one, it hadn't been replaced since I bought the car. When I did the first prep, I put a new one in it. We broke one for whatever reason, is what it is. I had spares, we put a new one in, and doing so, there's 2 different pieces of the sheathing. Basically, we run this fiberglass inner, rubber outside heat protector, and somehow, some way, we had separated the front and the back half of the heating shield by about 2.5 inches. And unfortunately, it is right on the bell housing. We broke that throttle cable, we replaced it. Car was running great, we did a bunch of shock tuning. Didn't have to actually put any wrenches on the shocks. Played with pressures in the hydraulic bump stop. We started the week at 100 PSI, we went down to 70. Man, the car settled down. We're carrying another gear through the bumps. We were happy. So leading up to the week, we did a bunch of pre-running in my JK with one of the guys that works for us, Matt, and some of you may or may not know him, but he used to own Rockware. Super great guy to have with you out on the trail, super badass wheeler. Things that he had his buggy there, so we could kind of see buggy lines versus my JK lines. Did some of the more extreme trails, outer limits, and then of course they take the exit of outer limits out of the course come driver's meeting time, which was good because it was going to be a parking lot. Pre-ran for a couple days in the rocks. Never really got a chance to do the desert section. Jeff Cooper, my co-driver, went out and did the first 15 miles by himself, just so he had a line of sight for race day. Had a couple of little minor problems that kind of kept me in the tent working on the car. Roll out to race day. Tech and contingency went smooth. Car always passes tech with flying colors. Obviously it was built properly way back in the day. Then it's race day, right? We line up race morning, we're 9th, so that puts us 5th starting position, basically 2 cars every 30 seconds. No wind, no breeze. It's always a little damp in the morning out at Johnson Valley, so the dust just sticks around. So we knew we had to have some patience, and just kind of was not nervous and didn't have the big butterflies in normal because we just had a plan, and our plan was to just drive what we see, and if it's blinding dust, slow down and don't drive off the GPS like a lot of teams chance. And there was some big wrecks the day before in the UTV class where it took 4 or 5 drivers out. So we had all that data. We just kind of decided to settle in. But of course, we all know, you got a helmet on. I don't know, it presses on your head, wherever that dumb button is. That helmet seems to poke that dumb button, and it's time to go. Green flag drops, we stand on the gas, the motor pops and farts a little bit. No fault of Doonhoon. I just didn't clear it out. Normally I'm revving this thing, clearing it out, because you're waiting in line for 30 minutes, moving and moving and moving. And I didn't do it, so it kind of fell on its face, and then it was like a switch hit, like you had nitrous. the thing finally kicks in. So we get through the infield, kind of dicing it up through the infield with the guy we started next to. We're heading out of Hammertown, and there's a wash that takes you towards back door. And, you know, I've been recreating out there for the last 15 or 20 years, and I've been racing out there, you know, the last 15 years. And there's an outside line and inside line. The inside line is rough. It's got some big transitions, and I was really hoping the guy that started next to us would take that line because I could carry a bunch of momentum on the outside line, which we did. And we literally just kind of got right in front of him. I'm sure he had to hit his brakes a little bit to miss us. And we got out, and then I made a driver's error, kind of got lost a little bit, didn't understand the course. He got back by us, and then so at that point you kind of just settle in as much as you can settle in on the start of one of the hardest races in the world. And we just started clunking off miles. Everything was good, the car's working good. We kind of stood it up where those guys had trouble the day before. Blinding dust, couldn't see 10 foot in front of the car the whole time. Just took our time, passed a car, and we get into these little twisties right before a remote pit, passed another car. Having a great day, making time on our class cars. I think, you know, the guy that started behind us had a flat early on, so we had made some time up on him. He had started maybe a minute behind us, I believe. Go through the pit, the car's perfect, the temperature's perfect, everything's great, right? We go a mile and a half later, and it's the first rock canyon, which we never have in the desert loop. We did this year, and it's aftershock. Trail I recreate wheel on often. We're going down it. I get into it, I downshift into low range, and throttle's stuck. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. Anyways, we had to get out of the trail. Couldn't make the bypass, which was legal on the first lap. So we just did the waterfall with a throttle that would stick wide open, or however far you pressed it. So it was a neutral, ignition off, fired up, neutral, ignition off. Finally got down to the bottom of the waterfall. There's cars everywhere. There's cars broken down. There's flat tires. There's a pile up behind us. We needed a throttle cable. So the judgment call was, do I zip tie or tape my foot to the throttle so I had the ability to return the throttle? Obviously not the safest thing to do. So we made the judgment call to have one of the slower class vehicles that started way behind us bring us a spare throttle cable. And they did. They brought it to us. It wasn't that long. Got throttle cable changed. When I pulled the old throttle cable out, I knocked the transmission breather tube off, just being in a rush. Well, the car's smoking hot. The exhaust is right here. The thing is right here. I said, you know, I'm not going to drive without that, because if the tranny starts puking fluid, it first goes out the vent. The exhaust is 6 inches away. The car's going to burn to the ground. Didn't want that to happen. So we let the car cool down, left the key or the ignition on, had Starlink, had just more stuff than we normally have running. It drained the battery. So then we had to call pits again and have another car. Thankfully, there were still cars coming, probably one of the last ones actually, and brought us a jump box. Got the car jumped, and at that point we were way down. It had taken us probably, I don't know, hour and 45 minutes or whatever it was. I don't know exactly, seemed like forever. But during that time, we got to help a lot of other racers. The course worker was down talking to us. You know, there's no cell phone service out there, so he saw we had a Starlink, so he's trying to log into our Starlink, and there's just, I don't know, 30 cars up there just boggled in. I'm like, hey, can I go help those guys? He's like, well, what do you want to help them with? And I'm like, well, there's a bypass and it's legal to take on the first lap. He's like, well, I can go do that. So he got those guys kind of hustled through, and then Jeff Cooper walked up, and there were some Japanese guys in a yellow Toyota Tacoma. I mean, this thing was pristine when they started the race. Looked perfect. And they were about to roll over, so he helped them get them down, and then helped a couple other cars that were in some bad positions get down, stock class cars. And then at that point, I had the breather hose back on. We jump started the car with the jumper that was sent to us. And Jeff Cooper's never raced my car. He's raced in the passenger seat. He's never raced the driver's seat. So, at that point, I was like, you know what? It's time for him to have a little fun. We had about 55 miles to get back to the main pit. I'm like, Jeff, just drive this thing. Let's just go have fun and see where we're at when we get there. And in my mind, the back of my mind, I'd already given up. And the reason I had given up is because there's this trail called Jackhammer. We talked about it in the last video. It's a parking lot. And I didn't want to absolutely beat my car up to get to Jackhammer to sit there for 2 or 3 hours while people are winching up this thing. So we called it, and Jeff had a great time driving that 55 plus miles or whatever we did. However, ding, ding, ding. Didn't get this information till later, obviously, or else maybe we would have changed our minds. But the car that finished first in 4,500 was only had beat us through that pit by an hour. So probably made the wrong judgment call. That's racing. You know, you're out in the middle of the desert. You don't have the best information, and that kind of sucks. However, the good part is my car is ready to go to the next race. We got a few little trinket items, clean it up, polish it up, fix a few minor things, and the car is ready to go. So, you know, that judgment call that you make on the fly, sometimes it comes from your monetary expense, your time in the shop after hours or on weekends, the pain and suffering before you get to go have fun really is where it comes from. And that's what happened. I probably threw in the towel a little too soon. However, it was based on a decision that is 100% in my control. And you know, to be honest with you, we had a great time. We had a great week, and wouldn't change it for the world. We're safe, we're home. My lungs are almost out of dust. The car is still dusty and dirty. But thank you all for following along. I can't do this without some of the guys that helped me. Falcon Tires has supported me for a long time. These are the tires we started on. They still look brand new after about 75 miles of a nasty LS3 eating them up. David Stone Electrical Company, our contractors out of, I think they're out of Laverne, California. My co-driver, Jeff Cooper, owns David Stone Electrical. I couldn't do it without him and his family. My guys at the shop, you know, holding the fort down while I'm gone. I probably always have a minimum of 20, 25 people out at the lake bed that have taken vacation times from their regular jobs to help me. This doesn't happen without each and every one of you guys. And I'm always blessed to have the crew I have. They're, I don't know, couldn't replace them with anything better, even if you paid them. But R-Dub, Kurt Anderson, my crew chief, Troy, the Cooper family, and a bunch of other just friends and family that come out to support us one way or another, whether it's cooking dinner or breakfast or handing me a beer. Again, this is really at this level, right? Off-roading is a family thing, and even at this level of racing, you couldn't do it without every one of those families. So I'm super stoked to have their support and just keeping it a family deal, you know? We'll be back at some sort of racing. I'm not so sure that this car and me have a future, but I will always race some. My heart and desire today says I'm gonna go do some desert racing instead of the King of Hammer style racing. However, obviously I've got a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth today still. So we'll see what the next couple months brings. Follow along, UnchartedOffroad.com, and we'll keep you guys updated. Don't forget, we have an expansion coming March 1st. We are gonna have the ultimate clubhouse here at Uncharted Offroad. If you haven't heard about it, you will need to stop by after March 1st and check out Uncharted Offroad's clubhouse. It's not for me, it's for you, the people that make this all happen. Have a good night.